Welcome to a special artsy-fartsy edition of Garage Geek. So yesterday I went to the Getty Center Museum, and I thought I would go ahead and share some of the art. Now I know that many people have been to museums before, obviously, and most of you have probably even been to the Getty Center. But I figured there's a lot of people overseas who might not have seen the Getty and who might want to see some of the art. Now I went because they had a special exhibit of William Blake, and I don't know if you could see that this big yellow book is all the plates of William Blake with his poetry written on it. I featured that in videos before. If you really want artsy-fartsy, watch one of those because those border on the pretentious. So anyways, I want to talk about my day yesterday because going to the Getty Museum is an all-day affair. First off, I want to say that in Los Angeles, there are two Getty museums. There is the Getty Villa, which is, I believe, the original one. And it's very much like a Roman, what I would assume is like a Roman villa on the Mediterranean. It is right on the ocean. Lots of columns, amphitheaters, statues everywhere. It's a very beautiful place. Now, I've only been there once, but I may have been there twice. I might go during Christmas vacation. So if you're interested in seeing the Getty Villa, then look forward to that future video. But I'm going to talk today about the Getty Center. Now, the Getty Center, I believe, was the second one built. And this one is built on a hill over the 405. And often on TV, when they're looking at traffic, they will show the 405 very near the Getty, and because it's just all red lights one way and white lights the other way with all the traffic backed up. Yesterday, I was able to see that and also to get some pictures of the freeway because it really does overlook. It's such a cool spot. And then when you're actually at the Getty, you have views of downtown LA and also the ocean. But anyways, let me go ahead and let's talk about the layout of the Getty. The layout of the Getty is basically a compound where you walk in, you go in through this building, and then it's basically a compound of like 6 buildings, and each building has like 2 or 3 floors. So it's kind of different from other museums where you'll walk around the whole floor and then you'll go up to the second floor. And this one, you're going up and down stairs a lot. So you really do rack up the steps. I walked 4 miles yesterday just around this museum. I did over 10,000 steps because you're going up in one building, you could cross over, and then you'll go down another, then cross over, then go. They're all linked, but you could also go in and out. Besides all the interconnected buildings, there are also these grounds, which I actually didn't get to yesterday, but I've seen them before. There's this really cool maze walkway, and then there's all this gardening around it. The architecture of the place is gorgeous. In fact, they have tours, and one of the tours is an architecture tour and a garden tour. We actually did one tour yesterday. We tried to do 2, but we were waiting for the collections tour, and we waited about 15 minutes, and then they canceled it because the dozen never showed up. So later we did the actual collection tour, the exhibition tour, I think it was called. Yeah, the William Blake one. Oh, maybe you can see it. It's easier to see here, right? So you have these buildings that kind of go in a loop. And so you go into one, you see it, then you go over to here, and you go around. But it really does take a long time to see all the art in the Getty. The Getty is really far from me, and it's not bad unless there's traffic. And when I was coming home, there was a lot of traffic. So what I did was I went and picked up my friend because she was kind of like halfway. Even though it was a little bit out of the way, she's about halfway. And then we went out to breakfast in a place called Mar Vista was on the way. It was a very nice breakfast. The weather was gorgeous. It rained the day before, and I was a little bit worried about that. The whole day, it was gorgeous weather. The Getty Museum is free for anybody. All you have to do is make a reservation. So busy times of the year, of course, the reservations get all booked up, but we had no problem. But what you have to do is you have to pay for parking. You can get as many people as you want in the car, but parking is going to be $20. So you park, and then you have to take a tram. The tram goes up along the freeway, and it goes around, and you can actually have some really stunning views of the freeway. I know that sounds weird, but right, the freeway freeway runs right through the hills there, and then you see downtown Los Angeles in the background, and it's really a neat tram ride. So then after you get off the tram, you have to go up these stairs, but right as you get out of the tram, there was a big sign that for the William Blake exhibit. Of course, I wanted a couple pictures with that. So then we went into the foyer of the main building, and there was an art exhibit. I don't know who it was, but it was basically these reproductions of shells, like giant, and they were hanging from the ceilings, and then all of the background was this pearly type of paper. And I was more interested in the pearly paper, because with the light shining through it, it was showing off like some really gorgeous colors. So my friend and I had time to go to the third building, the second building, and some of the third before we wanted to go on a tour. So my friend wanted to see the exhibit through the tour. In the meantime, we went to a couple of buildings. It happened to be that those were my favorite parts of the exhibit because it had the most interesting painting to me. So a lot of impressionism. I realized later, like the whole rest of the museum is earlier art, which is really gorgeous to me. But I get, when I'm tired, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. And so there's a lot of pottery, a lot of statues, a lot of really, beautiful art of religious themes. We went through the first couple buildings and saw so many great art pieces. There's so many world famous names in that museum. I didn't even realize that Irises by Van Gogh is one of their main paintings. We went for the tour of Blake, and the tour was okay. It was fine. They give you this little earpiece, which is interesting. And I like that because I was able to walk away from the docent and look closely, because wherever everybody was, they were all crammed in on the pictures. So I wouldn't be able to see them. So I would be looking at something else, but I was still able to hear the docent. That was a neat feature. But what I was really surprised about is how small some of those Blake plates are. Like, I'm serious, some of them are about that big. Like, you really have to squint, and they actually had magnifying glasses attached to the walls. I was very happy that I saw that Blake exhibit. It was just really nice to see it. It was actually my first time to see a Blake exhibit, although my friend said that she saw an exhibit of his, I think, in Chicago. So we actually stayed long enough to watch the sun go down. After that, it was like 4:30, and then we got in line for the tram. But since the museum was closing and getting ready to close, the lines for the tram were quite long. Going back down the tram, though, was really nice because, again, the sun had already gone down. And so then you could just see, like, it wasn't pitch black, but you could see the city in the background. And then, of course, we went out to dinner. That area, like, the traffic was all bad. And where we went to eat, there were so many people. But we were able to walk around. It was kind of a Japanese area that I didn't know about. There were so many restaurants, but there was a waiting line at almost everyone. But we managed to get some ramen. It actually took me about an hour to get home, which wasn't too bad after, I dropped my friend, and then it took me about 30 to 40 minutes from there. All in all, a really fun day, but exhausting. By the time I got home, I left at 8:30 in the morning, and I got home at 8 o'clock at night, and I was beat. But it was such a fun day. I hope that you've enjoyed some of the art and the clips that I've included in this. Please let me know if you've ever been to Getty. What do you think about it? If you've never been to the Getty or the United States and you're seeing this museum for the first time, I hope I did it justice. And let me know in the comments what you think. What was your favorite art piece that I showed? What was your favorite of the Blake? Again, I want to thank everyone for the support.